Hi, fifth graders. Today we are doing our last math lesson for Unit 1, and this is lesson 1.12, and it's all about solving word problems. So we're not learning anything new. We're using our same skills that we already know, but we have to figure out if we're adding or subtracting based on what the word problem says. So you really have to use your brain and think, am I going to be adding those or subtracting those to answer what they're wanting me to find? So let's try a few together here in our notes, and then you can work on your assignment. Number 1 says, Ariel ran 6 1/4 miles on Saturday. This is 1 3/4 miles more than Harry ran. How far did Harry run? I'm going to read that again. I want you to think, should we add those or subtract those to figure that out? Ariel ran 6 1/4 miles on Saturday. This is 1 3/4 miles more than Harry ran. How far did Harry run? What are we going to do with those numbers? Are we going to add them or subtract them? Hopefully you're thinking subtraction because Ariel ran more than Harry. So if we're trying to figure out Harry, we have to subtract to get a smaller number. So I'm going to stack these up. 6 1/4 minus 1 3/4. All right, we're ready to subtract our fractions first. 1/4 minus 3/4. Oh, we can't do that. Cross out the 6. It becomes a 5. And then we go over here and put a little plus. 4/4. Remember, we just look at our bottom number and whatever it is, that's what we're adding on. All right, do that little addition problem. 1/4 plus 4/4 is 5/4. And then we are ready to subtract. 5/4 minus 3/4 is 2/4. And 5 minus 1 is 4. So my answer would be 4 2/4. And since it's a word problem, we want to have our label. Let's think. What would our label be? 4 2/4 miles. We were talking about how far they had run, and they were running in miles. So it'd be 4 2/4 miles. All right, let's try another one, number 2. After guests drank 4 1/2 gallons of punch, there were 2 5/8 gallons left in the bowl. How much punch was in the bowl to start? I'm going to read it again. Think, are we adding or subtracting to get the answer? After guests drank 4 1/2 gallons of punch, there were 2 5/8 gallons left in the bowl. How much punch was in the bowl to start? Well, in order to figure out how much there was before anyone drank any, we would need to add those together. So I'm going to stack them up. 4 1/2 plus 2 5/8. Alrighty, better check my bottom numbers. Are my bottom numbers the same? No. So how do I fix them? If they're not the same, I need to cross multiply. So remember, write them out to the side. Cross multiply, going both ways, making our circles. 2 times 5 is 10. 8 times 1 is 8. Multiply my two bottom numbers. 2 times 8 is 16. All right, I'm going to go over to my original problem. 1/2 has now changed to 8/16. And 5/8 has now changed to 10/16. Let's add those up. 8 and 10 is 18/16. Go to my big number side. 4 plus 2 is 6. So I have 6 and 18/16. Uh-oh, look at that fraction. What's wrong with it? It is improper. We can't leave it like that, so we have to divide. 18 divided by 16. It'll go in there one time. 16 times 1 is 16. Subtract, that gives me a 2. I don't have anything to bring down, so remainder 2. I'm going to take that and turn it into a mixed number. A big 1 and 2/16. And you get here and you're probably thinking, I have done a ton of work for one problem. But we can't forget the very last thing to do is add those two big numbers. 6 and 1 is 7. and 2/16. And then I'm searching for my label because I know this is a word problem. What would our label be on this one? Gallons. 7 and 2/16 gallons. Awesome job. All right, let's try 2 more here. You will notice these 2 say problems with more than 1 step. So we have to do multiple things here to figure these out. Nora read 1/6 of a book on Monday and 2/5 on Tuesday. What fraction of the book does she have left to read? I'm going to read that again. Nora read 1/6 of a book on Monday and 2/5 on Tuesday. What fraction of the book does she have left to read? Well, first we better figure out how much she has read. So I know on Monday she read 1/6, and on Tuesday she read 2/5. I'm going to add those together to see how much she has read so far. But I see a slight problem. Do you see my problem? My bottom numbers are not the same. So first we need to fix those. So let's cross multiply. 6 times 2 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5. Get my bottom numbers. 6 times 5 is 30. Now I can add those. So what is 5/30 plus 12/30? 5/30 plus 12/30 would give me 17/30. Okay, now we have to do a little thinking. She has read 17/30 of her book. She's a little bit over halfway. But the question says, what fraction of the book does she have left to read? How much more would she have to read the whole book? Well, I'm thinking. 1 whole book would be 30/30. Because remember, 30/30 would be the same as 1 whole. So that would be the whole book. And if I subtract what she's read so far, which is 17/30, that should tell me how much she has left. And if I do that subtraction, I get 13/30. So she has 13/30 left to read. 13/30 left to read. That one's a little bit tricky. All right, we have one more here, and then I'll let you work on your assignment. Number 4 says, a rain barrel contains 32 gallons of water. Bettina used 15 1/4 gallons to water her garden. Then it rained, adding 6 3/4 more gallons. How much water is in the rain barrel now? Ooh, there's lots of things going on there. I'm just going to read the first 2 sentences and see what I should do first. A rain barrel contained 32 gallons of water. Bettina used 15 1/4 gallons to water her garden. Okay, so she had 32 gallons to start out with. And she used 15 1/4. What do you think I should do with those 2 numbers? If she had 32 and she used 15 1/4, I need to subtract those because she used it. That water is gone because she used it on her garden. Now I see a slight problem here that makes it look a little bit funky. 32 needs a fraction behind it. Remember, if there is no fraction, we can just put 0/4. And now it looks more normal. All right, so we have 0/4 minus 1/4. Can we do that? No, we have to borrow. So borrow from your 32. He becomes a 31. And then go over to your fraction side and put plus 4/4. Do that quick addition problem. What is 0/4 plus 4/4? 4/4. Now we can subtract. 4/4 minus 1/4 gives me 3/4. Careful with this addition. 31 minus 15. 31 minus 15 is 16. All right, so after she watered her garden, she had 16 3/4. Now let's read on. Then it rained, adding 6 3/4 more gallons. What do I need to do with that information? Well, I'm going to take what she had after she watered her garden, and I'm going to add 6 3/4 because it rained that much. So that would be more water going into her barrel. So I'm just going to add that on there and see how much she has now. 3/4 plus 3/4 would give me 6/4. 16 plus 6 would give me 22. 22 6/4. Uh-oh. What is wrong with 6/4? It is an improper fraction, so we need to divide it out to fix it. 6 divided by 4. 4 will go into 6 one time. 4 times 1 is 4. Subtract those, we get a 2. Remainder 2. I'm going to turn that into a mixed number. Remember, my 1 is my big number. 2/4. Ooh, this is a lot of work. The very last step here is add my big numbers together. So what is my final big number going to be? 23 2/4. And I'm searching for my label because we are almost done, but we have to get our label on there. Gallons. 23 2/4 gallons. So again, today is all about word problems. We already know how to add and subtract. We already know how to find a common denominator. We already know how to fix them or to borrow. We're just doing it with a word problem. So read those word problems carefully and then solve them depending on what you need to do. Good luck. Do your best.